Hello everyone, you are watching a new wrestling podcast on the WarpSpeed esports channel. It's been a while, but we're back. My name is Jeffrey Blight and I have a beautiful co-host and podcast interviewee, which is WarriorJGamer, Dallas. Hello.
How's it going, peeps?
Always a pleasure to have you, one of my longest standing and longest running partners on YouTube. In RFPW's eFed, in gaming itself. And you were the one to bring me into Fortnite, but that's the gaming podcast that we're going to get into a little bit later on. We're going to get into the wrestling, and we're going to start off with WWE because the Elimination Chamber is on our hands. And we're going to post a prediction, but we're going to talk about that just a little bit beforehand. And I must say, I am quite disappointed with the Elimination Chamber matches. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem a bit lackluster this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You've got obviously the women. The women's, in my opinion, seems more interesting than the men's at this moment.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. So we're just gonna run through the matches bit by bit. But before we're gonna get into the matches, the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther, hot of the Royal Rumble, and does not even have a match. I don't get it. What is going on? Same with Rhodes. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, for one, Cody Rhodes being back now, like that's good, obviously. It does seem strange the fact that he hasn't had that many matches since coming back.
Yeah, but
He's just straight up.
Yeah, indeed. But it's also been like the same with the Rumble. It was I think they're trying to emulate NXT. Longer matches, longer storytelling, but I think it's going to bite them if you're going to have how many matches, like 15, 16 on two Mania nights with nearly no build-up.
Yeah.
But we're going to see how that develops. That's a little later on in our podcast. Let's run through the matches bit by bit. I'm looking really forward to this one. Let's kick off with that one. Lashley versus Lesnar.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think even it could be match of the night, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean, for one, this was one of the most anticipated matches that we wanted since Brock Lesnar came back and since Bobby Lashley came back. Because when Brock Lesnar came back, Bobby was doing MMA. And then, of course, on so on and so forth, Brock being in UFC. And a lot of people wanted to have them two fight because they had so much... being two big guys, of course, but having like a similar match type and them both being MMA fighters in the past as well, it makes to a good story. I mean, the last time they did this, it was cut short and it looked like it was going somewhere. They've had about, 2 matches now?
Yeah.
Where I think Brock won the first one and Bobby won the last one, right?
Yeah, indeed. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. It makes sense in all kinds of context when it comes, and I think it might even supersede the main event of that evening, which we all know is going to be. Who do you think is going to go over?
It's hard to tell really because I mean Bobby is kind of the face at this moment, I believe.
Yeah.
He always flicks between face and heel, so I don't know sometimes whether he's heel or face, but he seems to be face because he seems to interact with the crowd a lot, and I think Brock's gone back to being heel now. I want to say that Bobby might win this one. I'm not sure. But considering how Brock had an amazing match with Roman Reigns last year before leaving and losing that match, of course, I feel like coming back and now he's going to start winning again, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually thinking that Lesnar's going to go over, but I'm going to tell you a little bit later on why, because that runs into Mania. But that's why I'm thinking he's going to go over, but I'm going to get back to that. Then we've got the mixed tag team match. Who thought this was a good idea? Edge and Beth Phoenix against Judgment Day. Sorry, but if it's going to be the bummer of the night, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that fond of Judgment Day, to be honest. I mean, I was when Edge was in the picture and he was like the leader. Like, it was kind of a good idea. Like, it's like he was making a new brood sort of thing. But then... after he was like eliminated from Judgment Day by Finn Balor, and then they ended up being like their own leader sort of thing. Well, that's kind of BS because let's be honest, Finn's the actual leader in this one. Now it just seems really weird, and I don't like Dom being in there either. Like they're just forcing like a heel character of him, and he's not doing it very well. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think the one person that's the best out of Judgment Day that's getting the most recognition is Rhea Ripley. I
yeah,
think her being in Judgment Day is really helped her character a lot. But for
absolutely.
everyone else,
Mm.
it's not really working very well, to be honest. I mean, I really do like Damian Priest, but him being just in the Judgment Day it's not really working for him. Like he's best just being his own person again. Like back when he was the Archer of Infamy in NXT, and then when he was called up to the main roster, he was doing pretty well. But him being in Judgment Day now, he seems to just be in the shadows with Dom.
Yeah,
And
indeed.
obviously Finn Balor. Finn Balor, I don't know what's happening with him either. I mean, he had a good run for a while, and then it's like ever since he got pretty much stomped on by the Fiend, he's not been the same ever since.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to me. I get why they're doing this, but it really interferes with Ripley going after Flair at Mania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So that really messes
Yeah,
about with it a bit. Indeed, Priest had a good solid title, a singles title run. Balor, I don't know what he's doing in there because
no.
it's like Bullet Club gone wrong. And let's not talk about Dom. I just want to forget about that. I'm just happy. The most happy person I am seeing in this match is Beth Phoenix. She can still roll, so I'm
Yeah.
no doubt about that. But gotta move on. That's all the time we have for that one. The US Championship Elimination Chamber match. Can I say I love half of them, and half of them I don't understand like at all.
Yeah.
Before we forget, who's going to go over, by the way, with Edge and Beth Phoenix against Judgment Day? My call is Judgment Day.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Judgment Day on this one.
Yeah, same, just to build Rhea Ripley up, indeed.
Yeah.
But let's talk about who's going to be in the US Championship Chamber match. Theory's going to defend against Rollins, Logic,
Yeah.
Gargano. I can get that. Bronson Reed, why?
Yeah. I don't know.
Nah,
He all just came back and he's just been put into the chamber. Like it's like they don't know what to do. And it's like, oh yes, just put him in there. Why not?
no doubt about it. Damien Priest could get it, seeing as he had a past run with it, but it doesn't make sense to have him twice on the night.
Yeah.
That might come back some way to haunt him. I don't know. I see a spot coming with Edge somehow. Montez Ford. Can I say I'm gonna call it Spot Monkey,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's such a shame because this guy is so overly talented.
It was amazing.
But I don't see why he's in there. I just don't see it.
No,
It doesn't make
I
any
don't
sense.
either.
I would rather have Street Profits go up for one of the tag titles, split them early on before Mania, rather than at Mania. That's what I would
Yeah.
have vouched for.
I see it coming. To be honest, they're building Ford up to be a singles competitor now.
Yeah,
I can see it happening.
yeah, and for the post-release Mania season, the other one's gonna get dipped. Easy,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
shame though because I do like Angela Dawkins as
yeah,
well, but compared to the both, Montez Ford is just more skillful in the ring. He cuts good promos, and I feel like Dawkins is just there on the side of him.
mm,
Like they make a great tag team, but when it comes to being singles competitors, I feel like he's just going to be put in the back. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna either end up going back to NXT or he's gonna end up being fired. I
Ye-
don't know. It's just always just gonna be one of those people that just jobs to other wrestlers.
yeah, indeed. I completely agree. So who do you think is gonna win that match?
I feel like maybe Seth Rollins is gonna win this. I mean, that's a given, to be honest. It's either that or Fury's gonna do something that's gonna end up him being champion again, or will still be champion. For everyone else, I'm not sure, but I feel like he's gonna do some sort of mind tricks on other wrestlers and then get Rollins. It'll either be him and Rollins at the end, and Rollins will win, or he's gonna do something to get Rollins out early,
Yeah,
and then
indeed.
he's gonna stay. Yeah, then
Yeah.
it's gonna either be Fury and maybe Gargano, and then Fury's gonna win.
Yeah, the only thing that I would find logical thinking about Mania, with Ripley going for the SmackDown title, is Priest. Having them really as a championship stable.
Yeah.
The only other option I could see, Gargano. I don't know. I think it's too early. Bronson Reed and Montez Ford, absolute no go. So I'm actually hoping for some reason that it's not going to be Rollins. It's either Theory or Priest for me. But I think that Theory, in all logic, it will be Theory, but Priest would be a good alternative to me.
Yeah.
That being said, we're going to move on to the Raw Women's Championship #1 contendership elimination chamber match. Why is this so goddamn long? Really? Jesus. Crying out loud. But yeah, let's get into the competitors. Asuka, Darkseid, get it. Morgan, get it. Nikki Cross, maybe. Raquel Rodriguez, why? Natalia, veteran, get it. Carmella, sorry. Like, I just talk about Carmella for me because I don't see it. I've never seen it, and I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, I do somewhat like Carmella. I think she's great and everything. I think she's quite good on the mic as well. She's quite funny as well, especially when she was in that little mixed tag thing with R-Truth.
Yeah, that was cool. That I have to say that she did perfectly with that.
To me, she makes a great face, to be honest. So like a little baby face sort of thing.
Yeah, indeed. Really. I think she's like the Kelly of her generation, but with more skill, more in-ring skill, and a bit more wit. But I think that's her role currently as it stands. But who do you think is going to win this one? I think it's a very, very open. My personal pick, and I think it's a logical one, is Asuka.
Yeah. I mean, this whole dark version of her, I feel like she's going to dominate women's roster now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see dark version of Asuka versus Rhea Ripley if she does beat Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, indeed. But because also I don't see why Rodriguez, Natalia, and Carmella from SmackDown are in that match. Why?
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm not a big fan of people coming back after so long and then it's being put in a title picture like that. I'm not a big fan of that.
No, I absolutely
like
agree.
When they build themselves up. Do you know what I mean? Like, if she has a good few matches and then maybe past Mania onto the next pay-per-view, then it goes further. Or maybe put her in the Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, indeed, I agree. Well, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, and that is most likely going to be the main event, but I'll be so disappointed if it's only 5 matches, because if you're going to get a ticket, you're going to pay massive money, you're only going to see 5 matches. That is proper disappointment. Because we record this on Wednesday, we have only SmackDown to go home. Any more matches to come by? I don't see it. I don't see what else you could add based off storytelling. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but let's get into it. It's gonna be, of course, Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Why is this all so long? Good Jesus. Of course, with Paul Heyman and of course somebody of the bloodline against Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Honestly, I get the Royal Rumble finale payoff. But this, in the sense that you all know what's coming at Mania, this makes no sense to me.
No.
I don't get why you did not split the titles at this very pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you could have you could have had a massive payoff with Zayn getting a major championship finally after all those years. Like, it could have been the Universal and let Roman keep the WWE Championship because that's the company he's representing. But this is just going to end up like it has been for the last 2 years. Bloodline coming in this case, Jey Uso is doubting it, then still hits Zayn, and we're going to finally get the switch at Mania. That's it. So we all know who's going to win this one. It's going to be Reigns.
Yeah.
And it butters me.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to end up like Royal Rumble all over again. I mean, they're going to fight, and at the end, Sammy's just going to be the one handcuffed and getting his ass beaten, and then maybe Jey Uso's going to come down, and yeah.
Kevin Owens, and you know it. It's the same drill. And
Yeah.
and if you're hearing backstage like they're not gonna change much in the creative leading up to Mania, like that was all set in stone. It's just disappointing. So for that reason, again, I'm coming back to that. My match pick of the night, if they can execute it well, Lashley versus Lesnar.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I want them to go all out on that match. Like, I want to be on the edge of my seat.
I
Definitely.
honestly would not mind seeing the chamber matches being like 35 minutes. Reigns and Zayn
Yeah.
35. The mixed tag team like 50 minutes. And Lashley versus Lesnar for like 45, 50 minutes. I'll watch that.
Yeah. I would have liked if it was 2 out of 3 falls too, because I mean,
Or an
one
Iron
man's
Man
fault.
match, whatever. Last man
Yeah.
standing, anything
Yeah.
like that. No holds barred. These two could do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Indeed. Well, we're gonna get shortly into the Mania season because, like, for me, WrestleMania. Last year I got a little bit excited. This year I'm not feeling it at all.
I can see why.
It's like we've been there, done that. Like it's Flair again. Ripley, I get it completely. Let her go over. Belair again. Like I know she's
Yeah.
talented, but it's time for something new. And the women's division has been stuck for 3 years now. Like
Yeah.
I'm done seeing Lynch and Bailey and Flair and Ripley in this case because she's also been on that and Belair. Give room to something new. I would have not minded seeing anyone like a veteran like Natty go in there just for the sake of getting a veteran reward. So like
Yeah.
also just having like we're at the chamber now. We know that in like 1.5 months you have to have like 16 matches. How are you going to do 12, 13 more matches in 1.5 months? How can you build that up? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. And again, like I said about the whole Roman Reigns versus Cody thing, I mean, like I said, I don't know how that's gonna work with on Elimination Chamber having him face Sami Zayn. Obviously, it's gonna be well, it's probably gonna be a quick match to be honest.
Yeah, I think so
Well,
too.
the only thing that I can think of is that won't be the end of Sami, and he's probably gonna intervene in that match to have Cody win.
Yeah, indeed. Or Bloodline versus Zayn and Owens, something like that. But like,
Yeah,
if you're own, and the problem I'm having with this is because that is so much unknown. We don't know how many matches there are going to be. Like, if you're going to just go down the route that we've been going, you're gonna have like 6, 7 matches on one night. I'd be very disappointed as a ticket holder for WrestleMania, and that would really knock down sales for next year for sure. Because if you're coming down from 21, 22 matches like to like 12, 13, ouch.
yeah,
And final note, for the love of God, please do not let anybody perform in the pay-per-view again, except for the opening, because that Royal Rumble performance, I'm sorry, that was shit.
yeah.
Holy
I know
Moses,
what you
that
mean.
was bad. It was off key, it was bad, and I know a little bit about singing. That was piss poor. But on that note, it's time to end the WWE section because we have a unique partnership coming in. We had AEW and NJPW doing a pay-per-view, but now it's Impact and NJPW. Interesting.
Hmm.
Like, I expected it somewhat with people coming in, but this one I did not really expect it like that. But I am super stoked about it. I can tell you that.
So NJP are partnered with AEW.
No, they had that what was it? The Forbidden Door pay per view together.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna have a pay per view with Impact.
Oh wow, that's something I'm excited for. I didn't even know that myself. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't really follow NJP that often, and Impact I haven't seen in a while, but Impact is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, and
So I'll definitely be watching that.
yeah, and it's called Multiverse United with a subtitle only: The Strong Survive. And
Wow.
I dig the title. Like, this was so ripped off of Marvel, but I love it.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell. But already, the first three matches that were announced, because this is going to air March 30th, so they have some time to build it up. The first
Yeah.
three matches announced: Moose from Impact
Mm.
against Jeff Cobb. That's going to
Mm.
be a blast, like strong style. We've got Will Ospreay against Speedball Mike Bailey.
Mm.
I love a good flippy match. I do love it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can see it. Even though I must say Osprey has gone a lot more heavyweight. Like,
Yeah.
he's
It's,
gone from like flippy style and being nearly nude on Instagram every week to this. So I really saw the great change in that. And then a singles match for the Impact World Championship between Josh Alexander, the man with the wrestling mask on top of his face,
yeah.
against
Yeah.
Yujiro Kushida. Like, that's
That's gonna be an
one of the
insane
top
match.
names. Like, I really think that this was a great call by both companies, as this is on the Thursday prior to WrestleMania. I think this was an excellent strategy, and it's definitely what Impact needed to get back up on their feet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Josh Alexander. He reminds me of young Kurt Angle personally. And I'm so glad that he's no longer in a tag team with Ethan Page because I can't stand that guy
Yeah,
personally.
indeed, I fully agree. So I'm really looking forward to this one. If you're looking at the ratings, like Impact average around at 100,000 on first display, that's really low. While it's just the staple of what they've been given throughout the years. But their product, I've watched some of their shows, is really really good. Like, okay, promos could be a bit cheesy here and there. It's not up to the same production standard. It doesn't have to be. Like, I prefer Impact anywhere over Ring of Honor now since it's being produced by AEW. So, like, I fully get this. Like, I'm really happy for them to do this. I hope it's their way of getting slowly back up on their feet after what the
Yeah.
Monday Night War disaster was, or the Thursday Night disaster. That was terrible. So I hope they find it on their feet, because the talent they have is really up to par. Like, with household names like Frankie Kazarian even coming back to your company, that's really going to help.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I'm
I
look,
mean,
yeah.
there was a time when Impact was doing a lot better than WWE at one point, and that's when I was watching it religiously.
Oh
So I love
yeah,
seeing them go
absolutely.
back to where they used to be again.
Yeah, I think for me the best era was around the 2008 to 2010 part, when Styles was coming up, but you also had these great names. Also having like a Legend Championship that was not highly contested, but it provided some
Mm,
before they actually went into the enormous budgets with Bischoff and Hogan. But just right before that, that was a good period. And when they were gone, when Styles carried the entire company on his back for so long.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's going to be a brilliant set of that. We are down to our subjects. If you always want to enter your own subject, then let us know that in the comments, because you tend to rattle on a little bit about it. If you give us that, we've got some free time left. Is there anything you want to discuss that's going on right now in the wrestling world?
So yeah, I want to talk about NXT.
Hmm.
So, what's your thoughts on NXT at this moment? How do you think it's going?
Like, um,
Like, what's your opinion on NXT at this moment in time? Do you feel like it's going well? Do you feel like there's anything that it could improve on, or do you think that it's just how it needs to be at the moment?
can I be brutally honest? I have
Yeah.
not watched NXT. I've watched some of the 2.0 series, so I've seen
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like, that was okay. I couldn't blame it. Like, I've watched bits and pieces of the last pay per view, Vengeance Day. I'm really happy that they're finally slowly getting the UK talent really involved with like Gallus now being a tag team championship holders, like Pretty Deadly. Like I've met Lucas Howley, now known as Elton Prince. So I'm happy seeing those guys really perform. But yes, like getting to the champions, like the women's tag team titles, nobody's even bothered, and that's a shame. Like, I don't get why you made sure that every bit and piece of women's tag team wrestling went into one championship, like SmackDown, Raw, NXT, then just split that again. The build-up takes too long. Wesley as North American champion, perfect, no problem about it. Perez as new women's champion. She's got a bit of growth left in her, but that's NXT. I love seeing how characters develop. She's doing well. My only problem is this. Bron Breakker. That's my problem. You got to get him out as soon as possible. And if you're not going to do that, pick him up before the next pay-per-view, which I think is Roadkill, before Mania. But mind me about that. But if you get that done and dusted, it's actually Stand and Deliver on April 1st. Get Breakker off that title and give him a surprise match at Mania. I think that's a perfect debut because he's good, he's really skilled, but he's outperformed NXT. Like, the level difference in the total package is so strong right now. And Wesley would have been an outstanding next up, but being a North American champion, he's still stuck. So they've outmaneuvered themselves. That's my problem with NXT. They outmaneuvered themselves in the singles titles.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see maybe Dijak be the one to be the next NXT champion. And then from that part, to have then Bron Breakker called up to the main roster. Maybe, like I said, surprise entry into somewhere in the matchup for WrestleMania.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. But so NXT, it's not been where it was. It's got some time to grow, but it's not quite there yet. Not where it should have been right now.
Yeah. I mean, right now I think it's improving a lot compared to when they did the first 2.0 thing. Like, that was a mess.
Yeah, I got it. It was messy. It was sometimes really great at times for some reason, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. And what doesn't help is the NXT Level Up show. I get what they're trying to do there. It's like the build up of the built up, but people don't watch that like at all. It's like main event. Nobody watches it. Even anything that goes on there storyline wise, it gets forgotten. It gets neglected. No. And that's my final say on NXT.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is all the time we have left for today. So you have your Elimination Chamber predictions from us. You have a bit about what we think of Mania, about the Impact NJPW Multiverse pay-per-view, and NXT. I thank you again, Dallas, for being a part of this great podcast once again.
Pleasure mine.
And as part of the WarpSpeed Esports channel, and that goes for me, Jeffrey Blight, as well. We hope to see you on our own channels as well, because we make some lovely content, and you'll be seeing more of us here on WarpSpeed Esports. I still don't know why we're calling this Esports. Probably my mind has gone in, but WarpSpeed, here we are, and we've got to see you in the next one. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when a new podcast is coming out, and we'll see you soon. Titles.
See you later.